Okay, good day. Welcome back to the next video in my series on open source software for chess. Today, a little bit of a change of pace. Over the weekend, Boris Spassky passed away. Rest in peace. Great player, great person, and he has many, many great games, especially attacking games. A number of the YouTubers have done excellent videos covering his life and games. Feel free to go and watch those, as sort of to honor him. So what I thought I might do today is use one of Boris Spassky's most famous games, a miniature against Larsen in 1970, to demonstrate this analysis tool I've been working on, which involves using a lot of Python chess and also doing a few more changes to Scid versus PC, and basically provides a visualization of the main engine lines as you step through a chess game. So to the analysis screen, that's the game we'll be looking at later. That sort of position shows you what this analysis tool I've been working on is trying to do. The idea is that I pre-analyze a chess game, and that pre-analysis stores coded information in the PGN, which when you then load up Scid versus PC, it's able to interpret that, and it draws both the arrows of the main lines. Red is the first line, green is the second, and blue is the third line, and also put some numbered evaluations, so that as you step through a game, if you're not sort of challenging yourself to analyze the game yourself, it will show you the main lines in a very sort of visual way. Right, so the question is, how do we get there? The first thing we do is I've written a script using Python chess to do that. The engine, and that's these lines here. The only one, a couple of those lines are relevant, but engine chess.engine blah blah. So that is the way you connect to an engine in Python chess. I think it's similar to the way you connect to the syzygy endgame table bases. So as long as you've got Stockfish as an executable, and that starts up a separate task on your computer, which then Python chess can call repeatedly when it's asking for the evaluation of a position. And then, of course, as usual, you can give it a different sort of parameters, 8 threads, hash, 100 megabytes, I believe, per thread, and so on. So that's the first part of the process. Now, the first positions I will show you briefly, I believe, will be in the Evergreen game. So I just have one game in there, and then later on I did the same analysis for the Larsen-Spassky game. Now, I'm not going to show you this in full detail, but as with all the things that are in Python chess, basically you just loop through the moves of the game, and then for each move I ask for an analysis by the engine. You look at this line here. I'm doing depth 18 and multi-PV4. That means do the top 4 lines, find the top 4 lines for me, and that returns info. I mean, if you're familiar with Python, just returns a list, and that list has like 4 entries in it, and each of those entries is an analysis of the best lines, shows you the move, and gives you the eval score. So then what I'm doing is I just strip that information out, and then so I'm left with a series of moves and evaluations, and this is just some sort of calculations here. And you go down here. What I'm doing is I'm putting this comment in the PGN percent auto arrow. We'll have a look at what that looks like in the PGN, and basically it just saves all the information about the move, what's the score, and where it's from and to, and so on. And that's all that does. It's just like 20 lines of code, right? And then you've got an analyzed game, and it stores in out.pgn. So that was the Python chess side of it. I also then modified Scid versus PC. Once again, it's in the board.tcl to draw auto arrows. Draw auto arrow. Yep. And this is pretty much based on the draw arrow, which you have already in Scid versus PC. I've just added another function to it. Takes a few more parameters. Obviously, an arrow is a from square to a to square. And then I've added extra parameters in terms of color and drawing the eval square as well, right? So it basically just goes ahead, draws an arrow as it does, and then you can see this draw score text down the bottom. It finds a good spot to draw that, and draws that on the board as well, right? So once again, not too many lines of code. So now I can draw those custom annotations I've been doing in Python chess. First one I'd actually looked at was the Evergreen game, also quite similar, sort of short and tactical game. And I might just rush through to positions like towards the end of the game. So if you look at this, the first line recommended is the red line. So it's saying in this position, white should play rook takes e7 check. There are some bugs with my software. It's not actually showing the evaluation number there, or it's underneath the knight. Queen to e4 and bishop to e4. I mean, they're both -8 because black can play queen takes f2 check, or indeed probably rook takes g2 check. And so there's only one winning move here, which is rook takes e7 check, which was played by Adolf Anderssen. Just go over these last few moves just to sort of see what's going on. And you can see that this pre-analysis. I'll just bring over the PGN so you can see what it looks like. It's put in those auto arrows. You can see rook takes e7 check just played, and then you draw the auto arrow, e8 to d8, red color, and the other information here is information about where to draw the text and the arrow thickness and so on. So I'll just get that out of the way. So the best line here is king d8, and then you can see the smaller red arrow. So rook takes d7 check, followed by king c7, and the other second best line is king hiding on f8. None of these lines are good, by the way. So he took the rook with the knight, and now you can see that it's telling you that queen takes d7 check is mate in 4. That's hash 4, right? Which I think is what he's played. And if black has a few choices here, he should probably take the queen, and then there's horrible discovered check, which is what happened. King takes d7, bishop to f5 double check, king retreats, bishop to d7 check, and the king cut to pieces. And that's the famous final position. So having done that, I can now sort of let's look at Boris Spassky's great miniature against Bent Larsen. So I'll go through the first move fairly quickly. It's b3, I think that's Nimzo Larsen, e5, bishop b2, knight c6, c4, knight f6, knight f3, e4, kicking the knight, knight moves to d4, bishop to c5, attacking the knight, take. So nothing too dramatic so far. e3, bishop f5, queen c2, queen e7, bishop e2, very aggressive, casting queenside by Spassky. And now, what happened there is that the evaluation at the moment is a little bit better for black, right? Whereas when Larsen played f4, that's a mistake, and the eval on the best lines is +3 to black now. With knight g4. So let's look at that. So knight g4. At first, there's a bug in that first section. So now you can see all the alternatives, right? It's the best move it's suggesting, surprisingly, is queen c1, right? It's black's +3, right? And the other alternatives here are given as bishop takes g4. And actually, both of those moves will be most likely answered by queen h4 check, which is these green lines. So that's the way to sort of read these charts. You go queen back to c1, queen h4 check, g3, and then you continue with the game. And another line suggested is h4 to stop the queen from checking on h4. But that's not what Larsen played. He played g3, and then now the position's +4 to d3 is the top line. Just sort of freezing the white position. However, Boris played the second recommended move. You can see the h5. And now a few lines suggested here. h4 blocking is the top recommendation. Second recommendation is get that knight out of the way. And the third one is to take on g7, which would be a bit brave. h3, not a good move. It's now +5 to black, but there's only one move which gets +5. So this is the stage where Spassky probably had to see the continuation already. You can see the knight retreat to f6 is -1. Knight take e3 is -2. So that's still good for black, but the killer is opening up the king side. Now you can see there's a few alternatives there. Once again, the computer analysis says you should be taking that knight off, or you should be getting the rook off the h file already, or -5s. Larsen took the knight. Yeah, now it's +6, but there's only one move. So that was the move Spassky played. And you can see there's a couple of recommendations there. The best line is -7, is to slide the rook across to f1. And the second best line is to slide the rook to g1, which is what was played. Get the rook out of the way. And now here's the amazing move, which actually the computer doesn't think is the best line. The computer thinks that queen h4 is best, and obviously there's really bad discovered checks, and you can't really you either move the king and the queen, and both the rook will be penetrating down the h file, and it'll be a disaster. We can briefly look at that just for fun, right? See what we'll add a variation. King d1 is given. You can't move the rook off the back rank, and now queen h1. It's not even suggested take the rook. Just giving queen c3 is the book line. So let's not go there. But that shows you that there's many ways to win this. Rook h1, right? Sacrificed on empty square. They're always pretty impressive. Larsen took. So what's the point of that? Gain a tempo, pushing the pawn, and obviously queen h4 check is also in the air. The best move given is rook to g1, actually, but it wasn't played. Rook to f1 was played, which is a bit of a disaster, and that leads to mate. Queen h4 check. You can see mate in 5. Different ways of blocking. The one which lasts the longest is to slide across the d1. Mate in 4. And the next move is just to take the rook. And the game ended there. The continuation is bishop takes f1, bishop g4 check, king moves across, queen e1 check, queen d1, and queen takes d1 mate. We can go through that. And checkmate. And I'm sure there are other ways of doing it as well. So that was an amazing game by Boris Spassky, rest in peace. And I hope you found that sort of custom annotating of chess games interesting. Thank you very much for watching.